10,000 likes, 500 comments, and even a ton of follows, yet no sales calls booked. What gives? In this video, we're going to dig into why this is happening, what to do about it, and how to get more people onto your sales calls. So let's begin. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am Jana Nixa, the Authentic Sales Coach. I work with coaches, consultants, and service-based entrepreneurs, helping them create high-ticket offers that convert and teaching them a very simple sales process to get more high-ticket clients consistently. Remember, simplicity scales, complicated fails. Very often, people come into this space, and I actually, even though I had over 40,000 sales calls under my belt, and I'd been in the sales world for over 2 decades as a top performer, listen, guys, I fell for it too. I thought, okay, I have to get a bunch of followers and I have to be everywhere and I need to go viral and all of the things. But here's the thing, that's creating content like an influencer and not like a business owner. Because as you probably are aware, if you're getting that level of traction on social media, you're seeing that, right? You're seeing that, wow, I'm getting all of this, yet I'm still broke, or yet clients still trickle in. Like, I don't understand what's happening here. And the problem is, what most people don't understand about all of these platforms is likes and follows do not equate into customers. There's actually a sales process backing up those likes and follows in the comments that's actually pulling them through to a sales call. And so one common misconception I see with my clients is they come in and they're like, Jana, like, I'm creating this content, I'm being consistent and adding value, and I just can't seem to get anybody to book a call with me. And I'm like, well, how are you bringing them through your sales process? And they're like, what do you mean? And it's like, well, content is just like a intro. Hi, how are you doing? But there's an entirely different piece of this puzzle involving a simple sales process to actually pull these people through to a call. And I think that a lot of my clients think like, I just post a lot of good content and people just hop in my DMs and say, I want to work with you, or can we hop on a call? And that's not how it is. Okay. There's actually a lot more going on behind the scenes. And so I really want to demystify this with you guys. So first and foremost, it depends on the type of content you are producing. If you're producing just entertaining content or quotes or even tips and the value add content, people at this point are just watching it and liking it and just supporting you and just being a fan, right? But your content isn't compelling enough or driving enough curiosity or enough, like what I like to call like elephant in the room content or light bulb moment content to keep people to go, ooh, I need to know more, right? If I just give you like, here's the tips, tip 1, 2, and 3, you're welcome. You're like, thanks. And then if you have content that's like, hey, guess what? The reason you are where you are isn't what you think. Here's what's actually going on. And I give you insight. I give you a different perspective, or even more so, I get you to stop the scroll because I'm challenging the status quo. All of a sudden now I'm shifting your beliefs around something. I'm helping you expand your awareness and your curiosity around it, leaving you wanting to know more. So it's kind of like that book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. If you set your content up in the right way, you give that mouse a cookie, but then it's going to be thirsty and it's going to want a glass of milk, right? But then you give it the glass of milk and now it's drank the milk and has a milk mustache and it needs a napkin. So then you give it a napkin and now it needs somewhere to throw out the napkin and so on, right? And so what really good content does is it takes people through that buying journey by helping them see the problem in a new light, helping them understand what the actual solution is, educating them in a different way around this with your unique positioning, which again, builds trust, it builds credibility, but it also builds curiosity around how you do it differently and why you get the results that you do. And so if we're just straightforward, like, here's all my cards on the table, I'm really good at this, can't you see? That's why people are like, oh, cool, thanks for the tip, right? But if you're really shifting their perspective and helping them see their problem in a new light, giving them things to think about that maybe they haven't considered, educating them on another part of the problem that they didn't even realize existed, now you've got their attention. Challenging the status quo is such a massive way to do this. For example, I'll give you one from that I was just thinking about this morning. A lot of coaches are like, you don't have to do sales calls. Just use my messaging strategy. Well, let me fill in the blanks for you here. If you want to do a high ticket product, you have got to be a ninja messaging strategist to get somebody to give you 10K, 20K in the DMs or through a link. They're not telling you, yeah, maybe for $1,000 product, a $500 product, like there's pieces of that they're not telling you. And so what they're doing is they're misleading you, making you think that you don't ever have to hop on sales calls, which is then just like supporting your fear instead of getting over it and feeding into, oh, don't worry, you don't have to do the hard stuff, when it's not true. And it's actually disempowering people around the truth, which is, I guarantee those people, when they are selling high ticket, maybe not now because of maybe the status that they're at, they have other people doing it. But at one point, they were absolutely doing it on sales calls. But they conveniently leave that out, making you think you don't ever have to do them. So can you imagine if I were to create a piece of content around this, challenging that would actually stop people and get them to actually think about what this misleading nonsense is around not having to do sales calls. And now all of a sudden they see it through a new lens. They see it differently. Then it probably deeper inside them, because it's coming from a place of truth. They kind of knew that, right? How many of us have bought a 20K offer off of a DM link or a link, right? All of these skill sets can be built. I have absolutely closed high ticket in the DMs, but not without having some sales calls under my belt. You see what I mean? And so that's the kind of content we want to create, because that really shakes up the market. It helps them see their problem in a new light, and it helps them see what the real solution is. And the very best content actually rings true inside their body, because they're like, I knew it. I knew that I couldn't just do it that way and like skip steps. And like there was a part of me that knew it was too good to be true, right? Because and I know that having a business is hard work, and it's not about skipping steps. And whenever you're reading, people's ads and those kind of things that are telling you that, there's a catch. And so when we can recreate content in that way and get on our soapbox and show our authority on this subject matter, which will build your credibility, like this lady knows what she's talking about, that is the main thing that's missing. That is what will drive people to a sales call. Most people think, oh, I'm just supposed to be consistent and add value. People will just see how smart I am and automatically book. Now, another missing piece of this is most people aren't just going to hop on a sales call anymore. Some will, high ticket buyers will, because they know what they want and they want to get to it. Others, especially maybe people that are newer to the space and don't understand how this game is played, they're tired of getting on calls where people bait and switch them and try to sell them. They're tired of getting on coffee chats and people, turn it into a secret stealth mode sales call. They're tired of getting on discovery calls and being told that they're going to help them with X, Y, and Z. And next thing you know, they're trying to sell them on the thing, right? And so we have to really meet them where they are. And here's my biggest tip on this. If you can identify something that your ideal client wants help with right now, like one piece of the pie that you do, like the piece that all of your clients are always like, if I just had this piece, I think I could do it, right? But it's going to be the give a mouse a cookie philosophy, right? Like as soon as they get that cookie, they're going to be like, yay. And they're like, oh no, now I realize there's more. Whatever that cookie is, that is what you want to make sure that you're giving them. I call it with my clients like a micro solution call. And when you find what that is, people will jump on a call with you. They absolutely will, because you've now demonstrated to them that you know their problem inside and out through the content and what I've been talking about here. You've really gotten into like the nitty gritty, the granular level of how the problem presents in their lives. You've given your unique ideas around it and beliefs and why this is wrong and that may be wrong with what other people are saying, and here's why. And then it's like, and if you want to know what this looks like for you, I offer these blankety blank solution calls. Don't call them a solution call, but this like micro whatever, like I'll tell you one that I use a lot is I do perfect your pitch calls. So I will help people perfect their pitch, right? A lot of people know whether they're going networking and it's their elevator pitch, or just, even if it's their pitch when they're having a sales call. A lot of people get like all about that. So I know that's a hot button for people. So I offer those periodically, and people take me up on it because they know. So now you have them on the call, and there's a couple different ways you want to handle this. Before the call, tell them, I'm happy to hop on this call with you. And then if it makes sense and you are open to it, I would love to tell you how we support people with this process. So you could tell them that up front, which I would highly recommend so that it doesn't feel like a bait and switch. Otherwise, you really want to do it at the beginning of the call, because what a bait and switch, which a lot of coaches teach, is they think they're coming to call for one thing, but you actually end up trying to sell them. We don't do that in authentic sales. That's not how we do. It's not about us. It's about serving them, making sure on that call that you say, hey, I know you want help with in this example, your pitch. I'm happy to do it. And then if it makes sense, I would love to share with you, only if you're open to it, how we support people with this process. Okay. Now the energy is clear. There is permission to sell. You serve them at the highest level on helping them with the solution you promised them. And then I don't think I've ever had anybody tell me they don't want to hear more. Ever. And so that is how you get people onto a call. So the detachment, it's called the pull through. It's the middle of the sales funnel that people ignore. And they think, I post content, people hop on call. Whereas there's a lot that goes on in the in-between that can be done through your messaging and your content. And it can also be done through the comments and into the DMs. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways you can do this. But the messy middle of this is where you're dropping the ball and you're just expecting people to take action on the front end. And that's not what it's for. The most anybody's going to give you on the front end without really, really, really thought-provoking, belief-shifting content is a like and a comment. And if you're not taking that and pulling it through in other ways by engaging in it and asking open-ended questions and chatting with them and connecting with them in the DMs, then getting on a call, it's not how it's done. So don't shoot the messenger. But I don't know why more people aren't more open about this. That is how it's done. Just to summarize, really, you want to become excellent at understanding your ideal client and how to walk them through that customer buying journey. What do they think the problem is? What do they think the solution is? What new ideas can you add to both the problem and the solution for them to actually understand it a little bit better, and then lean into more to what you have to say and offer? Pulling it through in the comments and the DMs. Don't just let the content do all the heavy lifting. Clients come from conversations, not content. Okay. So those are the main two things. And then having that micro solution call, like a simple sales process to bring them to. And then, of course, knowing how to close, which is where I come in, of course, and having a solid offer, which is also where I come in. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, subscribe, share this with another fellow coach or business owner that you feel like would benefit. And we will see you all next time. Bye for now.